Hi there everybody, John Luck coming to you from our BTV studios here on Spring Street, and coming up on Saturday, February 24th is Fight Night 2 here on Bridgewater. It'll be taking place at the Bridgewater Vets Club, and it's a fight night put on by Granite Chin Promotion, and we have the promoter Chris Trietti joining us. Chris, thanks for coming into the studio.
Pleasure, thanks for having me.
So this is the second fight night on BTV, but you've been to the Vets Club a couple times here. For those that don't know a lot about Granite Chin, can you tell our viewers about it?
Sure. So I started the company more as a hobby. So, back in my younger years, I was a professional fighter. And, you had that mentality when you were younger. It's like, maybe it was partly my fault, maybe not. But, I was having a hard time working with other promoters. So I kind of had that mentality, like, I can just do it better myself, which started off I couldn't. But over the years, I got better at it. And then obviously, just like all fighters, you have your shelf life. So mine was coming to an end. So I had a decision to make, do I want to just shut down the project, or do I want to actually turn this into a company? I chose door B, so I signed on with other fighters, and the company's been growing ever since.
It has been growing, and I was at the first fight night, and that was an insane experience to see everyone come out, support the fighters. And this is truly a New England organization here. A lot of the fighters are from New England, from Massachusetts. But Granite Chin, they go everywhere. I think you have a show coming up at the Palladium coming up later on this year. Just talk about the growth of Granite Chin, because this is something that, as you mentioned, it took a little while to get going, but you definitely have something special on your hands.
We do. So we are now all over Massachusetts, and I even have some fighters outside of the state. We're actually going to Madison Square Garden on February 16th. Two of my fighters, one from Massachusetts, he's in Woburn, Julian Baptiste, and the other one, he is from Atlanta, Antonio Todd. They're going to be fighting on ESPN February 16th. So we are growing, and we kind of have our tentacles everywhere. But it really started, me being from Quincy, that, I was getting with, local fighters. Now we branched out. I have, some of my top prospects are from Springfield. So we do shows from the East Coast to the West Coast and everywhere in between. And, the next stop's Bridgewater. And
this event is put on by Granite Chin Productions. Fire for Effect is going to be at the Vets Club as well. Talk about that partnership with Al Lacerda. We'll talk to him coming up a little bit later on in the program. But I believe you said earlier you were a veteran yourself, so being able to support a veteran group like Fire for Effect has to feel pretty special at this show.
No, it's great. And so the last time was the first time out, and and we're going to get better with each one. But by chance, I teamed up with Fire for Effect. Al and Brian have been great. The amount of support they give to this event to make it work is invaluable. So we're hoping to continue this partnership, keep putting on great events. As I was saying before, make them better and better each time out, and see where this goes.
So I was at the Vets Club before everything got set up, and it's a big hall for those who don't know. But I came back the next day. There's a ring, there's a bunch of chairs, there's a lot of work that goes into this, and I'd imagine it's not just you that's leading the charge here. You definitely have some help from some folks putting things together.
Of course, there's so many people behind the scenes, and to all those people, thank you. Whether it be people help me set up, BTV, Fire for Effect. There was just so much that goes in. My staff, and it's definitely not a one-man show. These don't happen if it's a one-person show. But the hall's great. It's definitely an old-school venue. So yes, it's a big hall, but once you put the ring in there, you start putting the chairs in there. The hall does shrink, so it does give a real intimate feel. No matter where you are in that hall, you feel like you're ringside. So that's one of the biggest feedbacks I get about the Bridgewater Vets Club is the people that are there, they love watching the fights here. It's just such an intimate area, and the folks really get into the fights.
The chandelier on the top of the ceiling, that really adds an effect. It's like the old school garden.
It's so old school. I love it, and especially seeing the footage of the last event and how it all looks. I'm like, it's great. And we're going to make it better because, as we were discussing, backstage, that there are a few things that we can do to the hall to make it better, and that's what we plan on doing.
And I can tell you from the BTV side, we always look for kind of new things to do. Yeah. And when we first heard about boxing, we didn't know exactly what it was going to look like. But teaming up with you guys has been great, and really great eye-opener to what we can do on the boxing side. We pulled out some tricks and some tools of the trade as well, which is great to do. And we'll be back there coming up Saturday, February 24th. I think we have a card with 6 bouts coming up on the 24th. Anything you can kind of leak out to our viewers here before we get to the show?
Yeah, of course. Some of these guys on there are great, and some of their backstories are unbelievable. So we have Kevin Nagle. He's our main event. So Kevin is 40 years old, and he came to me. I've known Kevin for years. He came to me probably about a year ago, and you know, like most people, you know, he got married, had kids, so he had to stop fighting. Then unfortunately, the marriage didn't work out, and you know, so now he came to me. He's like, you know what? You know, I need a reason to lose weight. You know, I want to show my kids you're never too old to, you know, chase a dream. So we asked if he could have one pro fight, and I just thought this was a one and done deal. I was like, you know what, Kevin? You know what? If we're gonna do this one time, we're gonna see what happens. He's now 6-0, and he's fighting a main event. You know, for his 7th fight. It's an amazing story that everyone can relate to. And then we got a young kid like Joe Bush. He's from Marshfield. He now lives in Quincy. He was a nationally ranked amateur, and now, you know, he's turning pro. And you know, he fought on one of my shows back in December, and now he's back, and he's got the young rabid fan base. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a very mix of people in there, and I think when it's all done, it's going to gel perfectly.
So we talked about the fighters, we talked about the venue. Let's talk about the fans, because I feel like with each knockout we had at the first fight night, you could kind of feel the energy hype up a little bit. So I'd imagine as a promoter, it has to feel great to hear the fans having such a good time, supporting each of the fighters that's a part of the promotion. Just talk about kind of that thrill you get as that fight night goes on.
I could be biased, but I really do think in Massachusetts, like, Granite Chin's got the best fan base going. They're passionate. You know, they follow these events around. I mean, I'll do an event in Bridgewater, and then I'll go do an event in Worcester, and I'm seeing some of the faces. I'm like, I saw you in Bridgewater. You know what I mean? It's like, and over the years, you start like recognizing faces. I have no idea what your name is. I just know I've seen you at my events. No matter where I go, you're there, and they're great. I mean, they're loud. You know, they support their fighters. They really get into it, and Granite Chin wouldn't be around if it wasn't for the fan base. So to them, I'm very grateful.
Well, it comes up on Saturday, February 24th at the Bridgewater Vets Club. For those that are watching this on BTV, they're going, this sounds like a good show. I want to take part. Tickets are going pretty quick here, but I think there's still time to get some, right?
Yes, so we still have tickets available. You can go to our website, granite-chin-promotions.com, and just click on upcoming events, and it'll bring you right to the link there. And we still do have some tickets left. It is a relatively smaller hall once we set it up, so tickets will be limited. Whatever we do have, we will sell at the door. But if you want to guarantee you get in, granite-chin-promotions.com.
And we'll, of course, have the coverage for you on BTV on delay. But again, if you want to take part live, go to the Bridgewater Vets Club on Saturday, February 24th. Doors open at 6:30, and the bell time is 7 o'clock. Great night of fighting coming up at the Vets Club. Chris Triady, thanks for coming in and talking to us a little bit about what Granite Chin Promotions is.
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk to Al Lacerda of Fire for Effect Foundation. You're watching the Fight Night 2 preview show here on BTV.
Boxing is back in Bridgewater. Granite Chin Promotions, in association with Bridgewater Television, bring you a night of fights featuring Joe Bush, Anthony the Gentle Savage Andreozzi, James Pitbull Perkins, and Kevin Big Gulp Nagle. All to benefit a veterans nonprofit organization in Bridgewater, the Fire for Effect Foundation. February 24th, doors open at 6:30, first bell 7 p.m. Tickets at the door or online at granite-chin-promotions.ticketleap.com. That's granite-chin-promotions.ticketleap.com.
We did have temperature.
Sometimes it's hard to know where to start when the
the cycle never stops. You're not alone. Visit maketheconnection.net to learn more.
Back here on the Fight Night 2 preview show, John Luck here with the president of Fire for Effect, Al Lacerda. Al, thanks for coming in and talking a little bit about Fire for Effect, which is teaming up with Granite Chin Promotions coming up on the 24th.
Yeah, thanks for having me, John. I appreciate it.
So let's talk about Fire for Effect. They've been outside in our BTV parking lot putting on a lot of great festivals last year. But for those that don't know what Fire for Effect is, what do you tell them?
Well, so Fire for Effect Foundation is a veterans nonprofit organization here in Bridgewater. When we started it to kind of get things going in our own area. We felt like being able to support veterans and first responders in our area was going to be our number one priority. So that's why it came about.
And the community outreach you guys have had here just in the past couple years, I mean, it's evident outside. The tree removal, the planting of the grass. We're going to have pavement work done here. And a lot of that has been done thanks to the work of, Fire for Effect Foundation. I've seen you guys come down here and kind of give updates week by week. We're moving big trees. We're getting the asphalt out of the way. We're getting the grass in. Just talk about the community aspect of this entire operation.
Yeah, so for us originally, we knew that there was it doesn't always need to be just a one-sided thing, right? We can find a way to benefit the community, in this case the town of Bridgewater, as well as find ways to further the cause for veterans and first responders in the area. And the way that we decided to attack that was to basically find an area in town, in this case Town River Landing, which was kind of in a state of disrepair and neglect for probably many reasons, many of which I have no idea. Moving forward, we will continue to attack that area, but all the work that we've done to get this place where it is now, and then all the work that we're doing going forward is a result of not only the hard work of our foundation, but many other people who volunteered their time and stepped up. So.
And we'll talk a lot about the great events coming up here outside our BTV studios during the spring and summer in a little bit. But as I mentioned, Fight Night Bridgewater coming up on February 24th at the Vets Club. And Al, this is the second time Fire for Effect has partnered with Granite Chin. I talked to Chris Triady a little bit ago, and he talked about the fact that he was a veteran, and this event kind of holds a special place for him. So just talk about that partnership between Fire for Effect and Granite Chin, because this is truly blossoming here.
Yeah, sure. So it's real simple. Chris is a great guy. He's a veteran. He holds a lot of the same philosophies that I hold, and you don't just speak about it. You go out and do it. And I'm sure that he's explained that he had to make some sort of transition from being a fighter into the next stage. Like, what do I do here? Like, do I want to continue this? And if I'm going to continue this, do I go after it all the way? And he did, and I respect that, because in a lot of ways that's the same philosophy that we follow is, don't just talk about it, be about it. And he's that kind of guy. So when he approached me about doing something here in Bridgewater, I thought that it was absolutely a great collaboration, and I really had a great time with the last one, and he's just a great guy to work with. I can't say enough about him. So.
Yeah, well, we were transitioning interviews. It was kind of interesting because you two kind of seem like carbon copies of each other, just with your mentality of how you approach different things and kind of that go-getting attitude that you have, which is great to see. Yeah. And you can truly see it with the planning that's going into this event here. I believe you're going to have a table for Fire for Effect at this event, so if people want a little more information, there will be representatives from Fire for Effect there, right?
Yeah, I believe our entire board will be there. We'll all be there. There will be a table. You'll be able to come and talk to us and ask us questions. I know we have a crazy schedule that we're pushing. My expectations are always extremely high. Some people would say ridiculously high. But again, that mentality that you go after it and you just try and get it done, that's how you do it. So yeah, we'll be there to answer questions. We'll have some merch. We'll have a table set up there.
And for anyone that wants some more information on Fire for Effect, I think you have a website and some contact info, right?
Yeah, so we have a website. It's ffefinc.org. You can visit that website, get some information. You can visit us on Facebook and Instagram. So yeah, you can easily get a hold of us if you want to, and I encourage you to do so. You know, we have a lot of things on our plate, and we'd love to get more community involvement.
So reach out online. You can also talk to Fire for Effect at the Vets Club coming up on the 24th for Fight Night 2. And this is kind of the kickoff for you guys of what's going to be just a ridiculous year of events.
Yeah.
April 27th, First Responder Day. And these are all outside in the parking lot, too, of BTV, Spring Street, right next to the bagel shop across from Bridgewater State's Spring Street parking lot. So April 27th, there's First Responders Day. May 18th, Battle of the Bands. Summerfest on the 22nd, which is a fun time. We actually had that last year.
Yep.
Everyone came out for that. Great time. July 13th, the South Shore Farmers Brew Fest. That one's going to be awesome. And on the 20th and 21st, definitely a first time ever type of thing here outside our studios, the Thrive Music Festival. Any of these events you want to talk a little bit about here, because we have viewers watching the Fight Night preview. This is a great calendar of local events here, and it's a lot of local business owners coming out.
Yeah, so you know, it's more about trying to create a culture post-COVID where everybody can reconnect. And you know, it's my belief that you get more accomplished by working together than you do going in separate directions. So these events are part of that, the idea that we can do multiple things while supporting the same causes in one major event or a series of major events. So for example, the idea behind these events are we are a nonprofit organization. We bring things to the community that people can enjoy, things that they can come with their families and enjoy. And at the same time, we're supporting veterans and first responders causes. So the events are great. You know, First Responder Day is our way of kind of giving a nod to our local first responders, nurses, doctors, firefighters, police. And that was our way of kind of saying, hey, you know what? I see you at a lot of other people's events, and you're usually, you know, a part of somebody else's event, but today is your day to do what you please. And interact with the public. So we enjoy opening the season with that. We're looking forward to opening the season with that. It's now law in Bridgewater that was passed that day is First Responder Day. So that one's an important one to me because of my background. Battle of the Bands is a new concept that we're doing. We're looking to inject more culture into the community. So that's how we're going to do that, which leads directly into Summerfest, which was a great event last year. We're expanding on a little bit of everything that we did last year. South Shore Farmer Brewfest is a collaboration with Black Hat Brewworks. South Shore Farmer Brewfest was a big event here in Bridgewater pre-COVID. COVID came in, and like it did with many other things, it kind of knocked it off the schedule, and it hasn't been back since. But since we started doing all these events and cleaning up this area, we've decided that this year we're bringing it back, and we're bringing it back bigger than ever. And all these things are great. The biggest thing that we have on our plate is the Thrive Music Festival. The Thrive Music Festival is a 2-day music festival here in Bridgewater. It will be probably the biggest thing that's been tried here. And people think I'm nuts, and maybe I am nuts. But you have to remember that as a nonprofit organization, our job is to find ways to generate funds, and also important to me, again, bringing culture into the community. So we got a lot on our plate. We're looking to bring in some national acts to close out Friday and Saturday nights. We've got 2 stages coming, a giant main stage and a side stage, 14 bands on the main stage, 12 on the side stage. It's a lot, and but like I said before, you set your goals really high and you go after them. If we're able to pull this off, all the money that gets generated from that goes right back into some important causes within the community, and it could be a game changer for the whole area. So,
well, it sounds like an insane year coming up for Fire for Effect, but don't forget, February 24th, it's a Saturday night at the Bridgewater Vets Club. You can watch Granite Chin Promotions Fight Night 2. Fire for Effect will be there, as will Al Lacerda. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the 24th.